Ahoy music lovers, vinyl lovers, and everyone in between. This is The Blind Island. I'm your host, Isaac, and I'm back. It has been a bit of time since the last time I made a video, primarily due to the fact that I was holding off on buying some new vinyl until the end of Christmas, and let's just say that got some gifts, got some gift cards, got some Christmas money, and I have gone on a bender. And I have purchased some new records to share here with you today. I'm very, very excited to do so. Greeting the new year in a big, big way. So excited to show you these recent finds, and very, very excited to get the new year going on the right foot. So we're kind of going, some of the more interesting things will be here at the end, but getting started with a great Christmas album, and that is Johnny Cash, The Christmas Spirit. I ordered this one back in November, and it arrived December 26th. The mail was definitely very slow to give this one, but it's still in the shrink, it's in great shape, and this one will serve me well in the next Christmas season. So really happy to have this great album by one of my favorite country artists. Then next, we have found this one in the bargain bin, McCoy Tyner, Song for My Lady. This is a classic jazz album from McCoy Tyner's stint over at the Milestone label. If you're looking for something that is in the same vein as his seminal record, Sahara, it's attacking, it's intense, it's beautiful. Be prepared for a noisy experience on this one. So if you're looking for something a little bit more adventurous, this is a great album to get you going. Next, another one found in the bargain bin. That's Boots by Nancy Sinatra. This is a mono copy, and I just always think that these reprise labels, the reprise label always sounded better on mono, and that's no exception with this record. Nancy, again, is bringing the heat with her classic tune that was written by Lee Hazelwood, and he was very right to hand it off to her because it sounds way more powerful coming from a woman than it ever would have come from Lee. I love this record and really happy to have it in the collection. And next, we have another bargain bin find, and that is Bruce Springsteen, Born to Run. I'm not a huge Springsteen fan, but I know that this is a classic album and I need it in the collection. There are lots of great tunes on here, including the title track, which just has this huge bombastic feel to it. And for those of you who haven't given Springsteen, the boss, much of a chance, this might be a good record to give yourself. It's definitely considered his masterpiece, and for good reason. And now we come to an album that's been recommended many times in the music community, vinyl community, and that is the Amboy Dukes, Journey to the Center of the Mind. This is an original pressing on the Mainstream label, and again, the Amboy Dukes were their big claim to fame is that they hosted the young Ted Nugent as their lead guitarist. He also was one of their primary songwriters. This is a fantastic psychedelic album. I would highly recommend this to anybody who is looking for a really great guitar-driven psychedelic rock album. And I know that Ted Nugent is a very controversial character, but he's an amazing guitarist. And this is a great album that features his talent in a big, big way. So very happy to have this one in the collection. Next, a very spiritual jazz album, one that I've been looking for at a decent price for a very long time, and that is Leon Thomas, Spirits Known and Unknown. This came on the Flying Dutchman label. If you ever see that, just buy it. It's going to be a great album. It was created by Bob Thiel, and just he was also behind the Impulse label, and you can tell because of the packaging on these records, that nice glossy gatefold, big liner notes, tons of photographs, and it's just aesthetically so pleasing. Leon Thomas is best known for accompanying Pharoah Sanders on his album Karma for The Creator Has a Master Plan, and he does his own version on this. This is a very spiritual vocal jazz album, and it is of its time, very hippy dippy, but very, very good, and a great place to just get yourself centered. So really cool album, one that has been on my radar for a long time. And again, if you are looking for a good label to just take chances on, Flying Dutchman is definitely your way to go. So give Leon Thomas a chance. Really, really cool stuff. Next album, picked this one up in a record store, heard it playing on the turntable, asked if it was for sale, and it was. I'm so happy about it because it is the Space Sound Effect, Stereophonic Space Sound Unlimited. Found out that these guys are an exotic surf lounge group that were big in the late 90s, throughout the 2000s. I mean, they were never really big, but you're thinking just really cool, surfy, spy thriller soundtrack type of music. Great for a bachelor pad style listening experience. And I love surf music, so this was a great addition to the collection. I was able to pick this one up for $10. Usually is going for around $20 online, so a great deal for an amazing record. Then another one that was picked up in a dollar bin at an antique mall, and that is Pink Floyd's Metal. I've had this one come in and out of the collection a few times, but I think that I'm going to keep this one sticking around. It's in pretty good condition. Usually these records are just beat to hell, and this one actually is holding up pretty well. So on the original Harvest label, and very happy to have Metal back in the collection. Another one that was picked up today, very cheap, $2. It came as is. It will need a cleaning, but willing to take a chance for $2. Jimmy Cliff, The Harder They Come. This is a great soundtrack for blaxploitation type film, but instead of funk, it's reggae, and it's really nice, soulful music. I love the music that's on here. I've been looking for a decently priced copy of this for a long time, and for $2, I couldn't say no. And it's on the original Mongo label, and all of the lyrics are in here, pictures from the movie. Gotta keep that censored. Sorry there, boys. But this is a great soundtrack. If you're looking to get into reggae, this might be a great spot for you to start. Great album, again, at a super price. Then, here is one that I took a chance on, and is really cool, kind of new agey ambient jazz style, and that's Laraji and the Sun Transformations. He plays the zither, and this album came out in 2018. It's an album full of remixes, and it has a little bit more of a beat than his previous records. I am very happy to have picked it up. It was a complete blind buy, and I just look at that album art. That's what draws me in right there. It looks like a guy who has a seeing out of his mind's eye, So for $6, brand new, I couldn't say no, and I'm very happy to pick this one up. Another album that I've been looking for a while in decent shape is Jan Hammer, The First 7 Days. Now, Jan Hammer was the keyboardist for the Mahavishnu Orchestra. He worked closely with Jeff Beck. He also was featured on Billy Cobham, who was the drummer of the Mahavishnu Orchestra. And I mean, this album is fantastic. It's very much in the vein of Jean-Michel Jarre's symphonic jazz, but there's a little bit more ethereal things going on in the vein of Vangelis. Certain portions of this remind me a little bit of Aphrodite's Child, 666. It's a great proggy jazz fusion album with classical elements. Really, really cool. Usually pick this one up for cheap. I would highly recommend that you search your bargain bins, search your local record stores for one of these, because if you're looking for something that's going to kind of expand your mind, this is a great album to seek out. Now finally found a copy of one of my favorite albums of 2020. It was in my top 10, and that is Let Us Resonate. This is a phenomenal funk R&B album, instrumental mostly, but there are a couple of vocals on here, and I can't get enough of it. It's so good. I highly recommend it to anybody who is into that style of kind of trippy chill hop music with a little bit of a muscular funk edge. Then next, this one, I've listened to this artist for a while. It's what's playing on the Personal Oasis right now, and I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I wasn't waiting for it to come into like pay for a export from France, because it was only pressed in Europe, and that is La Endesse's Second Wind. Really great instrumental chill hop. Very nice. If you're really into just that nice, soothing R&B styling, this is going to be right up your alley. Fantastic record. Pressed on white vinyl. Again, it was only pressed in Europe. I found it at a record store today for $16.99, and I could not say no for that price. Came out in 2019. Just check it out. Check out this guy, Endesse. I think he's French. Highly recommend it. Then we're getting into some classics here. The Temptations, Wish It Would Rain. Found this one in a bargain bin, and oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite Temptations albums. Actually, another YouTuber reviewed it, Giggins. Check out his review of this album. There's a lot of just on my knees, begging, pleading soul going on in this record. So good, love it. Fantastic album by the Temptations. Then next we have a classic of P-Funk. That would be Zapp 2. And this, I mean, I love this album. The big song here is the massive single Dance Floor. And if you're a big fan of More Bounce to the Ounce, Dance Floor is going to be right in your vein, right in your alley. So cool, so great, and I just can't get enough of it. Danceable, lovable, really sleek and slick. Highly recommended for any fan of P-Funk. Next is Allem Witches, Lightning at the Door. My wife introduced this group to me last year, and I fell in love with this record. Phenomenal, sludgy, bluesy stoner rock, and very neo-psych, and I just couldn't find a copy of this anywhere. It had been reissued, but I just didn't find stores having it. Go to my local record store, exclusive company in Oshkosh, and they're carrying multiple copies of this, and man, I can't believe it. It comes with a 7-inch, and it's on a beautiful, smoky, yellow vinyl. That's clear. Really great inner labels too. I love that. And this is just one of the best neo-psych groups out there performing right now. One of their new album, Nothing as the Ideal, very closely missed out my top 10 list. Just a really great band and a group that just hasn't really come out with anything bad yet. So really cool. Check this group out if you're interested. I think that you will find a lot to love. Then next, I have a shoegaze group that, I've been watching a lot of the Omaha Introvert. She's been introducing a lot of new shoegaze and kind of vaporwave type of groups, and this is a great one. This is Whir, and the album is, why am I blanking? Whir Pipe Dreams. This is actually Pipe Dreams redone, and this is the remix that they always wanted with the track listing the way that they wanted it to. I found this one again at my local record shop, and just a really cool album. If you're a fan of My Bloody Valentine and shoegaze music in general, you're gonna find a lot to love here. And it has this beautiful smoky clear blue vinyl. And got in trouble, I guess, a couple of years ago for some controversial statements that were made. But again, I try and listen to the music, and the music here is fantastic. So go ahead and check out Whir Pipe Dreams. Really cool. Another great album that I was able to snag at a really nice price, $7, Larry Coryell's 11th House, 7 Secrets. The final album from Larry Coryell. It was released, I believe, posthumously. He died right before it came out. Same with Alphonse Mouzon, who is also on the record. It's a shame that they never had a chance to follow up on this, because I think that there's a lot of momentum here, and they're showing that there's still a lot of gas in the tank for all of these guys and for fusion music in general. It's not my favorite 11th House album, but there's a lot to love. If you're a fan of the classic 11th House sound and fusion sound, then there's just so much going on here. And Larry Coryell shows that he is still he was an absolute king of playing guitar. Super cool record, and I love that album artwork. Very happy to have that. Another album I found in the bargain bin, and you know what? This one is beat up. It has some background noise, and the sleeve is pretty roached, but I don't care, because it's Otis Redding, baby. Otis Redding sings soul ballads on the original Volt label. I never see this. I haven't seen this once, and I didn't care. I picked it up, and it plays all the way through. Doesn't have any skips or any major issues. And you know what? For $1, who's going to say no to the man who is Mr. Pitiful? I love this record. So cool. And very happy to have it in the collection. Another one that bought on the cheap because the sleeve is a little beat up, but I don't care. Again, Reuben Wilson, Blue Mode. And this one technically was ordered in November, but came in December, and this is such a great album. I love everything about it. Super soulful, funky organ lines and grooves. This one usually goes for around $50-$60, and it's got some ring wear, it's got some writing on it, but I don't care. It's a Blue Note original. Fantastic, jazzy, funky, groovy. I highly recommend it for anyone who's in that vein. Then this one was really cool to find. I honestly am still shocked at finding this one. It's been on my want list for a long time, and that's Charlie Hayden's Liberation Music Orchestra. This is released on the Impulse label, and it's an original copy, and it is dead mint. Just so clean. Picked it up for like $8, and I love it. If it's on the soft side of the avant-garde, So if you're not really into free jazz, this might be a great place to kind of get settled. It has a lot of Spanish and Latin jazz elements in it. I love this album, really cool record, and yeah, just give it a listen. Check it out, and because anything on Impulse is really worth checking out. This also was a really cool find. This was made by a group that bordered Wisconsin and Illinois. It's on a private press, and it's by a group called Red Bud Thunder, American Rock and Roll. The first thing that grabbed me was this album cover. I mean, it just screams America. You know what I'm saying? It's really cool. And I love the back cover. It doesn't really give you much information, who's playing what instrument, just some pictures of the guys, and you know, it was $8. Like, I'm gonna take a risk on this. And if you're a fan of Leonard Skinner, you're gonna be a fan of this album. Very much in that kind of ZZ Top, Leonard Skinner, Americana blues rock, hard rock. Very cool album. And apparently it's worth some money. It's about $45 median on Discogs. And again, I'm more happy just to find a cool private pressed record, because I find these things completely collectible, really interesting, and the stories behind them are usually very cool. So, great album. Very happy to have it. And finally, this is a big one. This is one that I had in the collection. I sold it. I regretted it, but I'm like, you know what? It's gonna come back to you one day. And it's going to come back to you with the right album cover. And I was right. At the Eroding Winds, they sold Oliver Nelson's The Blues and the Abstract Truth. This is a seminal modal jazz piece. Fantastic playing all the way around. It's so beautiful, so gorgeous. And this is the first art that was on the album. It's the original album artwork, whereas later reissues had Oliver Nelson's face and profile. This one had only a limited release, and I love this. I think it's so elegant, so classy. I also enjoy the other album cover too, but I really have wanted this one for so long, and this is an original mono copy on the Impulse label. And again, it has a couple of hairline scratches, but they don't cause any major issues. And the best part is, it was a total steal. Came in $20. I mean, I'm so happy to have this one back. So I'd say that the Christmas December haul was pretty fruitful. I'm very happy with what was found, what was added to the collection, and just all the new music that we'll be enjoying here in 2021. So guys, what did you think? Were there any records that you want in your collection? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, I hope that you have a great day on your own personal oasis. Cheers.